Dear viewers, welcome to the roundup, covering pretty much whatever I feel like, mostly ARPGs and indie games for the PC. We got a jam-packed episode this week, thanks for joining, let's dive in. Starting with reveals and announcements. Last week I reported on ANVIL, which had a few launch issues. The Xbox Game Pass version doesn't have a quit button for some strange reason. Alt F4 closes the game just fine, but I think this is the first time I'm seeing a game without a quit button. It's another way to ensure player attention, I suppose. Should be fixed soon. Also, the difficulty that the community talked about is addressed. Some bosses will be significantly easier in an upcoming patch, which is supposed to launch a week from now. I think I'll try the game after that balancing is done. But there is a bit more to it than that, it seems. Unique relic chests, which are supposedly very powerful for your builds, are not yet in the game. But the game is balanced around these things being in the game. Not good. Another factor is that ANVIL is designed as a multiplayer game and single player was added much later. Apparently, the devs consider single player a challenge mode. Would have been nice if it was advertised as such, because then I'm not sure this many people would have bought this game. Still, the devs are significantly buffing the players next patch and they promise to fix the whole single player thing later, in the long run. It's been a bit of a rough launch because of all these things and the tough road leading up to the early access launch, with the devs getting a lot of criticism, to which they sometimes respond with some weird answers. For example, they feel that using an ultra widescreen is unfair, but this isn't even a PvP game. There is no competition. The concept of fair doesn't apply at all. Just let people play on the hardware that they bought from their hard-earned cash, right? A similar thing is happening with complete resets of seasons, because similarly to Last Epoch, Wolcen, ANVIL has seasons. During those seasons you can unlock relics and other stuff, and some of those things you unlock by playing the game a lot will be lost at the start of a new season. So far, there are no plans for a standard mode, meaning those items will be permanently lost. The community doesn't really like that idea. I scrolled back through all the previous posts the Korean developer One Home made, and I don't think there's any malintent here. He just has somewhat of a strange vision for this game, which may simply not work well with Western gamers. I feel he should be a bit more lenient if he wants the game to get a foothold in the West, because simply refusing to implement very standard features isn't going to end well. Small update from Timberborn, the cute beaver-powered RTS game where you need to control the water flows to keep your lands fertile, is now playable on GeForce Now. It's an ideal game for that as well, because the little lag you might have doesn't affect a game like this. I want to highlight and showcase once more the game Silt, a 2D horror puzzler by Spiral Circus. This is one of those games that feels special, and the devs opened up about their inspirations. Some of those are rather easy to see, like Limbo and Inside, especially because visually they have a lot of similarities. Other inspirations are the art styles used from writer and illustrator Beatrix Potter, who wrote a lot of children's books around 1900. This isn't particular news, I know. I do think the game has something special though, and just this trailer alone I find very intriguing. Silt is coming to Steam early 2022. The Last Ori Crew is a hardcore combat ARPG set in a medieval fantasy world, and they just dropped their first trailer. Visually, the game looks like Gothic 2, but gameplay-wise it has interesting features. There's a heavy emphasis on player choice, multiple storylines and endings, and couch co-op. That's not something you see a lot of in these games. What I like most about the trailer is that the devs have a clear vision for their game. It's hardcore, difficult, player choice plays an important part, and there's couch co-op. It doesn't appeal to me, because I'm a filthy casual with no friends, but I'm sure this is intriguing to many gamers out there. TAVERN Master, the cute Tavern Tycoon indie game by just one developer, released a roadmap update. The next few months, some interesting stuff will be added to the game. This month, December, expect more build options, optimizations, achievements and bug fixes. In January, there will be disasters added to the game, which should increase the difficulty somewhat, because right now the game is very easy. There will be better AI and customer interactions like axe throwing and playing cards. Axe throwing? Okay. In February, weather effects, more space to build, more decorations and deeper systems will be implemented. In March, gardening and recipe crafting, which I think really fits the theme of Tavern Master, and after that, no plans just yet. Overall, this looks promising. This game is already well worth your money and I would recommend it, it is such a cute little thing. You suck at parking, which may be true, but it's also a video game. A top-down, cartoony driving game where the goal is to park your car in the designated area without stopping until you get there. To complicate things, the whole level is filled with traps and other contraptions. The trailer is absolutely hilarious and the devs are organizing a public alpha test called Alpha 1. It is a meaty alpha with over 100 levels. I'll leave a link in the description of the video in case you want to sign up. The Sloremancer released another post where they are talking about the next update, Mage Academy. Just like the prison update, this is going to be released in several smaller patches. The first one contains 20 new Slorm Reapers, a materials tab in inventory, 5 new enemies and the Mage Academy environments in expeditions. The second patch contains Act 3, a new level cap, a new Ancestral Legacy tier, Act 1 rework and new Cataclysms and Exaltations. And then the final and third part contains new endgame content. Looking forward to this one. It's an amazing game already, being in early access. It's a little light on content, but this should mix things up significantly. And then of course the Game Awards just happened this very morning, and here's a very quick overview of some of the new games out there that I think are particularly interesting. For example, Alan Wake 2. It must have been a decade by now that Alan Wake released, and it is finally time for a sequel. Another beauty, A Plague Tale gets a sequel as well, which will be playable on Game Pass on day 1. And then there's this piece of art right here. Some total madness in game form, Splitterhead. Watch this. Completely mental. I can appreciate whatever the hell this is. Something more fantasy-like in a world everybody loves, Gollum Untold Stories. Definitely could be good, at least they got plenty of material to work with. And I find this a particularly intriguing trailer from the game Somerville. It is atmospheric, indie, artistic, and it could be great. It's sci-fi combined with peaceful melodies and robots trying to kill the protagonist. Works for me. In that same fashion, meaning this works for me too, is Planet of Lana, an off-Earth odyssey. The title alone is brilliant, and this small snippet of the game makes you wonder what it's all about. Just amazing stuff right there. I love the visuals and the music in particular, which got its own little segment in the pre-show. Next game, Homeworld 3. I never played 1 or 2, assuming they exist, but this is quite something. Spaceships, a dope remix of a classical song, some animated characters and the whole grand and massive space we see in front of us. Very curious about this one. Up next, a Square Enix game, Forspoken, with fast-paced third-person combat, and you actually see some gameplay here. Looks slick if you ask me. It's about a girl ending up in another world not knowing how she got there. You know, the typical Square Enix stuff. Seems legit, this one. Moving on to Arc Raiders, a retro-inspired sci-fi game, I think in third person, and it's free to play, which is concerning, but okay. Is this in-game footage, guys, with no UI? Is that what's happening here? I don't know, but holy moly, this looks like a lot of fun. Something for on your radar, I would say. And finally, Star Wars Eclipse. Do I really need to tell you why this is good? No, I thought so. Then the Patch Plaza with an overview of patch news. Last Epoch releases their big 0.8.4 patch Eternal Legends. I already made a video on it and I'm probably playing it as you're watching this. Not going to discuss it further. Please check my live streams or other videos if you're interested. Out of nowhere, Titan Quest released a new DLC, Eternal Embers. It brings an epic new questline with 4 acts and 15 side quests exclusive to a legendary difficulty. There is a new 11th mastery, the Nidon. Expect 30 plus new enemies and bosses, new weapons and gear, additional gameplay mechanics in the form of potions and technical improvements. While this is not made by the original Titan Quest team, as these guys moved on to Grim Dawn, it is still worth checking out, with a 77% positive user rating on Steam. Solar Purge, the indie top-down twin-stick shooter by Hitscan, got a new update. This early access game launched patch 0.4.2, bringing only 2 new weapon manufacturers, which are comparable to the weapon manufacturers in, for example, Borderlands. They apply to several weapon classes, but come with the same perks across the board. That is all they added this time, however. Normally we'd get another mission for the campaign or some holo chamber updates, but this time it's just a few weapons. Book of Travels, the fabulous tiny multiplayer online RPG, released its first content patch. The devs are calling these updates pages from a book, and this page brings 6 new skills to use while still leaving it a mystery how you can actually unlock them. And next to this, Steam achievements. Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr dropped a new season, the Season of the Empyrean Echoes. Here's the tagline: deadly enemies of past eras have been resurrected by the warp and vomited back into real space, bringing a new reign of terror and havoc to the Imperium. Hunt down these revenants and Empyrean elites with extreme prejudice and send them back into the Sea of Souls where they belong. Then embark on a crusade in the void and reap your well-deserved rewards. The new season brings a UI redesign, a reworked purge with players getting a stacking buff which eventually leads to more damage and exploding enemies, not unlike Rampage in PoE. There are reworked kill streaks which can be enhanced via the new seasonal items, and finally a reworked Unholy Cathedral where players have 10 minutes to defeat 10 extremely strong waves and you can earn special rewards as well. Then upcoming releases. The magnificent Clit the Snail releases December 15th. It is a dark fable about a grumpy humanoid snail armed to the teeth. What could possibly go wrong? I didn't expect this, but apparently it is focusing on the narrative and the mindful combat system. But this could easily be a sarcastic remark. I'm looking forward to this game a lot actually, because everything about it just seems so interesting. Another beauty in the making, Trash Sailors releases the 16th of December. Trash Sailors is a survival couch co-op adventure game for up to 2 players. Enter a ruined world full of danger and junk that was left after the Great Flood. Cooperate with your companion to overcome obstacles, defeat enemies and try to survive. Time for some personal updates. What have I been up to? Well, to no one's surprise, I've been playing some games, starting off with Chorus, a sci-fi space game with fast-paced combat, a great storyline and super smooth spaceship controls. The whole thing runs flawlessly on my ultra widescreen 32:9 aspect ratio. It is a joy to play this game. 40 euros, it's not cheap, but I think it's worth it. I will finish the game at some point and hopefully release a review or some impressions or something. So far, I definitely recommend the game. I played Lens Island, the Australian indie game. This is a cute survival game with a little bit for everyone. You can be a farmer, make tons of money and buy everything you need on the market, or be a warrior and explore the depths of the caves beneath the island. I think after 7 hours I've seen all of the content actually, but I'm still exploring, farming and delving to see what I've missed. This is in early access, it has a very solid foundation, and if time permits, once again, I will produce some content around this game. So far, definitely another recommendation. As this was recorded yesterday, I am right now most likely playing Last Epoch, checking out the new patch. And that's it. If you have any questions or remarks, put them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did and you want more like this, consider liking the video or even subscribing. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all, see you soon, bye bye.